All right, chat. We gotta turn, and I want your guys' input. So if you guys want your input on the YouTube video, come to the Twitch. Just saying. All right, so we're gonna start off our tier list right here with DPSs. We're gonna start with Wolverine. I would easily say that Wolverine is probably S tier, 100% S tier. The reason I say this is because he is the biggest tank buster. Even though Iron Fist got his rework, and we'll go over the rework and everything like that, he's banned every game, which is a big reason why. I think if there's a Wolverine that can definitely, it'll just carry 100%. I think he is just so stupid right now. Easily Wolverine's S tier. I don't think anyone can disagree on that. Psylocke. This is a hard one for me because I would say she used to be really good, but people have learned to counter her with like a Loki. A Loki can easily counter her, but she still has a lot of really fast burst damage. But if I'm comparing her to other DPSs and other dives, bro, I don't know. I think I'm thinking probably down to B tier. She used to be S tier, used to be A tier. I truly think that people have learned how to play around a Psylocke, and just unless she has her ult, she's not as useful anymore. She can still be someone that hard carries, but I just think that she's easily down to B tier. Let's go Namor. Oh, dude, Namor. My boy. Rat says Namor's F. He is the hardest anti-dive. He's also, if you do go against a Wolverine, I'm going to put him in S. If you go against a Wolverine, a good counter with him is Namor, because you get consistent damage bursting into him. I think he is unbelievably strong right now. I don't think he needs a rework or anything, or like a buff or a nerf. I just think he's really, really good. And I think they have him in a good spot. Me personally, I think Wolverine needs a nerf. Could be me. Oh, excuse me. All right, so we got Star-Lord. You said got to be S. I'm sorry, as a Spidey, it's awful. As a dive DPS, it's terrible. Star-Lord. I would say A tier. If you go against a good Star-Lord, he's really annoying to go against. But unless he has his ult is really, really ridiculous. Snake said he's out. What do you mean? Star-Lord is really good right now. I've gone against insane Star-Lords. I think in lower elo, he's terrible because people are just figuring him out. He's really hard to figure out how to play properly, but if you go against a really good Star-Lord, they are ridiculously terrible to go against. Yeah, he has the most terrifying ultimate, the freaking legendary. Bro, nah. He has a crazy anti-dive and can farm ult. He farms his ult really well if you know how to play him. I think he's A tier. I think he's really strong. I think he's really good where he's at. I don't think he needs a buff or a nerf. That's also what we're going to add into this tier list, if they need buffs or nerfs. Star-Lord is extremely easy to play. I'd say he's... Okay. Nice. I'd say he's easy to play if you know how to play him. The second you actually know how to properly play him. Magic. Oh, dude, I don't know if I want to put her at A or S tier. I really don't. A or S tier because I think she's ridiculously good at melting tanks. Like helping melt the tanks. Jesus. Okay. That actually got me. Magic, I would say it's hard because she's a dive that can really take care of the backline, but she can really be good for tanks. A, because she's countered, but tanks are crazy. I don't know, bro. It's really hard. I want to put her at S because of the diversity. She can play dive and she can play tank buster kind of deal. Not really a tank buster, but she can farm her ult so fast. I'm gonna put her at A because I don't see her played as much as what she probably could be. Magic is really good, but also hard to play.
That's what she said.
All right. I forgot to turn these HUD effects off before I started this video. Yeah, I'd say she's like A plus. Let's rank them. Let's rank them like this. We'll put them in the list like in order. Hela, easy S tier. There's no debate. They messed up her damage drop off. So according to my buddy, he said that her damage drop off actually was supposed to have like a percentage, right? That I'd put her over Namor, but I wouldn't put her over Wolverine. She was supposed to have like a damage drop off thing where it got completely like it wasn't as bad, and then it's basically unlimited now. Like to get to the point where damage drop off is actually effective, no map is large enough for it. So I think they need to rework that back into it. Squirrel Girl. Oh, bro. Probably C. I think C. A really good there. She's a really bad annoyance, and she's really good against like as an anti-dive because she can just net you. But like if you're playing Black Panther and you can dodge the nets, oh bro, she's really good. He says that her spider ability is really good, but I have never seen her spider ability actually be used properly. She's really good against Punisher, which we'll get to, because he can't get in turret at all, which higher elo, you don't see a lot of people actually going into turret at all. But I will say that she's not like the best. Her ult, people finally figured out somewhat that you can shoot the ult. The reason I say somewhat is because I'm typically the only person that's shooting the ult. But I'd say she's C. Her ult's really good. She farms it very quick. I don't know. I think she needs a little bit of a buff personally, but I feel like if they buff her, it's going to bump her to S tier and then she's going to be busted. You know what I mean? Mr. Fantastic. As a DPS, he's going in D tier. I don't think he does enough damage. As an off tank, you think he needs to go in the rework category? Yeah. I think I can agree with that. I think he can go into rework. I can agree. I think him being a DPS, if they put him in the tank category, I think he would do better. His ult doesn't do enough damage whatsoever. And he's kind of more of an off tank than a DPS. So he needs to go in the rework category. They need to do something with him or just move him over to tank. So that's, I can agree with this one. This one needs a rework. Spidey, I'd put him in A. I'd put Spidey in A. Rat says he's S, best in the game. No, there's better dives than Spidey. Spider-Man's just a really bad annoyance. I'd say he's more of an annoyance. I'd say he's better than Star-Lord, but worse than Magic. He doesn't do enough damage unless he has the Venom team up. But if you go against a really, really good Spider-Man, he's like that poke that just consistently pokes. I have someone saying Spidey is B plus as a Spidey main in GM. Yeah, actually, you know what? I'm gonna rank him with Psylocke, because same thing. You can go against a really good Psylocke and you can go against a really good Spidey, but they're both just more annoyances than. He's S tier if there's any ledges on the map. True, if they can hit him off the ledge. Spider-Man is just one of those annoyances, and once he has ult, his ult is really, really good. His ult is really, really good. But other than that, I would put him in B. I can agree with that one. B plus. Iron Fist with the new rework. His movement sucks now. His movement is trash. But the fact that he can still dive is really, really good. Right? Is the fact that he can still dive is still a great thing. I'm glad that he's not just like Wolverine. Right? But he's like someone said in my chat yesterday that he's like the Temu version of Wolverine, because he can still do some good stuff, but is he good? No, I wouldn't say he's good. I'm putting him in C. I'm going to put him in C because C is like that. They're not bad, but they're not the best. You know what I mean? He can be a hell of an annoyance with his deflect as well. But I don't know. Their rework, they need to do something with his damage and give him back his old movement. His ult is pretty good too. So it's kind of the same concept as Squirrel Girl. Iron Man, A tier. I'm gonna put Iron Man at A tier. I would put him at A just because his new Unibeam is insane. It's insane. And if you have Gamma Comp, I can agree with Snipes. He would be S tier. You'd say B because he dies too quick. A good Iron Man doesn't die. Does not die. They know how to get in and out, do the stupid amount of poke damage. They can get their ult super quick. And also, he counters every single support ult. That's another thing you got to think of. He counters every single support ult. So I think he's A tier. I would personally even say that he's over Star-Lord. I would say he's over Star-Lord. That's my opinion. Iron Man is my backup if the other team is pulling a wash. Switch to Iron Man and exactly. Iron Man can be a very hard carry. Very hard carry. I wouldn't say he's S tier. He's not something that's completely busted unless he has Gamma Comp. Easily S tier. Widow. Sadly, even though I love Widow, she's going in D. I think that they should have done something this patch. They gave her more. I wouldn't say rework, Snipes. I wouldn't say rework. She should have the same damage as Hawkeye. No, that would just make her a one-shot headshot, which would easily kill her. That would make her ridiculously busted. You could still get the one-shot headshot in 250s. What they did this patch was give her 12 bullets instead of 8. And I think that helped with quality of life. But in reality, what they need to do, the easiest thing is make her sniper faster. If they make her sniper faster, it will easily bump her up to B or A. No extra damage. Just make her cockback a little bit faster. Okay. I think that would, and she is good on anti-dive. I can agree, Rat. I can agree she's really good for anti-dive. But she needs a rework. Not a rework, but like just that fix of her bullet speed. Black Panther. I love Black Panther. He's going right under Magic. The reason why, I just don't think he does enough damage sometimes. Obviously, same thing. Really good Black Panthers will hard carry the game easily. You can play really good anti-dive, though. I don't think... right now, off the top of my head, I don't think any dives are going to go in S tier. Black Panther, he's easily countered with like a Penny, right? Penny Parker will easily put him... How dare you say that BP is low A or B tier? Yeah, I'd say he's worse than Iron Man. Would I say he's worse than Star-Lord? No. I think he's in a good spot. I wouldn't give him a buff, and I wouldn't nerf him. I think he's in a really good spot. I think anyone that's in A or S tier are in great spots, unless they need to get nerfed, like Wolverine. Moon Knight, with his new ult, I think he's D, personally. I think that Moon Knight easily goes in D, and this is like probably the hottest take I'll have today. His new ult is so easily got like one of my mains done dirty. I would not say he's A tier. If they have a Loki, he can farm ult really quick, right? But with how slow his Khonshu's freaking claws fall, bro, it's so easily, his ult is completely useless now, and that was the main thing, in my opinion, that Moon Knight went through. That's why he was S tier last season. But Khonshu is not good anymore, man, and that's what screws with him. You can still pop off a lot of damage, but is it consistent enough to actually do anything? No, in all reality. Mix it with an Onk and his team wipes if you shoot it. I still get out of it super easy. That's my thing. I don't know. And you were saying that Moon Knight can demolish BP. coming from a BP main, no, he can't. No, he can't. I mess up Moon Knights and they auto swap. All right, Hawkeye. I think he's in a good spot, but I wouldn't say he's A tier. I don't know what they did last season from season 0 to season 1. I like that they buffed his ult on the drawback speed, which I don't think he technically needed, but I just don't see him as useful as most DPSs. His one-shot headshot's still really, really good, and his E is really good as well, but it's just not enough to like put him in high tier. He's not definitely low tier. I'll say that. Wanda, I think she needs a rework. I don't know what's up with her, or big damage buff. Would you guys say D or rework? Her ult, I love that they did what they did with her ult, but it's just not enough, if that makes sense. She's really good at anti-dive, so it's hard to put her at D, or at C, but I just don't think she does enough damage to be consistent, to actually be consistent in a good fight. Snipes, thank you so much for the 50 bits. Much love.
Cheer one, 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 cheer one.
Okay. I didn't know that was a thing. But all right, next one. I thought it was going to do it 50 times. Thank God it didn't. Storm. Wouldn't say she's S tier. I'd say she's very high A tier, only for Human Torch, and we'll get to that. Her nerfs were insane this season, which were much needed. I think she's still really, really good. I might even put her at low A. I'm going to put her at low A because I think that she easily can carry a game, but at the same time, she's easily countered with Punisher. That's just me. She's definitely too slow. She needs a movement buff. Bucky, S tier. Easily S tier. We're going to put him over Namor. He is so good overall. Right? He's so good overall. But I think his ult needs to stop doing again over 6 people. I think that's what they need to rework about him. He's just a really good character. I think he's not balanced necessarily, but you go against a good Bucky, it's over. It's all over. And he gets his ult really, really quick too. Human Torch. I want to put him at C because I don't think he's really useful unless we're going with a Storm. I don't think he's that useful. I'd say he's C because he can still be an annoying thing, and he's really hard to see in the sky. Plus, his movement is kind of like Iron Man's. I don't know if it's the same speed, but I think that he was like overhyped as this flyer, so I'd say C, easily C tier. Oh, and then we got Punisher. Punisher with the Rocket. Everyone's playing Rocket right now. S tier. I think Punisher is one of the most easy pick. Like, oh, I'm doing bad as DPS. I'll step it up with Punisher. I think he's so good. His ult is phenomenal. Obviously, Magneto can counter it. But with the Rocket team up, it is... Oh my gosh, bro. It is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. So I think the Rocket team up needs a nerf. It lasts way too long. So he's easily going in S tier for me. All right, so tanks and strategists. Strange is still easily S tier. You cannot debate that he's not S tier. Right? And I'm not going to move him up on this list past DPSs because I'm not going to say, oh, Strange is better than Wolverine. Because we're going to base it off of tank, and then you'll see. I think Strange is easily S tier. A really good Strange can hard carry a game. That's 100% a fact. He is still the highest picked tank in the entire game. But it's just he's an annoyance. I can say he's probably still easily the best tank in the game. 1000%. Magneto with his rework, he's going in high A. His new shield really screwed him up with how quick it is. You think reload could be faster? Well, that's where you learn animation cancels. If you can learn the animation cancel, his reload is stupid quick. I would say Magneto, though, he needs to stay in A tier. People finally learned that you can break his ult, which is huge. He can still take out supports really well, and I think he's still a really good carry tank for solo. I just don't think that he is like this overly A tier, right? Like he's definitely high A, not S, just because of the fact that his new shift is terrible. It's so quick, but it's a good switch because he was unkillable last season. Venom, D tier. I don't think he needs a rework. I just think he needs buffs. I don't think he's a good dive and a good annoyance, but he's not doing enough damage or something to be like that tank that you really have to worry about as much. I think he's easily one of the worst tanks. I wouldn't say he's the worst. Nah, we're going to put him at C. I would say C. His ult is decent. Now that people are figuring out don't use your ult on 2 supports, you can stack it with more health. And he could be a really bad annoyance, but overall, once you start focusing him, all he's doing is going in, going out, going in, going out really fast, and he's not as useful as what he should be. His slow ability should be a debuff ability. I can see that working. Cap, I haven't seen effective caps in the new update. I'd still say he's easily one of the worst tanks in the game. I think he is ridiculously weak, and he's one of those just, I'm in and I do a couple hits and then I run away and I jump away. He has really good survivability, but with his new rework, I don't think it was enough to actually make him a higher tier. I think it just really reworked him into this weird area of he's not the best, he's not the worst. Thor with his new thing not having a cooldown, the F, easily A tier. I think his ult does need a little bit of a rework or a buff, but I'd easily say that Thor is A tier just for the fact that he can output so much damage and go absolutely insane. I think he's phenomenal as a tank right now. Personally, I don't know. I think most people can agree. There's a lot of Thor players coming out now, and they're just loving the game. Hulk. I want to put him over because of the gamma buff. I want to put him A tier, but he's not. I could easily say that he's not better than Magneto, just for the fact his survivability is insane. If he has gamma buff, it is insane, which typically he does. You don't typically see a solo Hulk. You'll have a Strange or an Iron Man to give him gamma buff. I could put him in A as well. I think he's phenomenally strong, but I wouldn't say he's S tier. I don't see him played as well as most. I don't think he needs a buff or a nerf either. So that's another reason why he's going in A. Thing, probably one of the worst tanks in the game. He's over cap. I'm going to put him over cap just because as a dive player, he's really good as anti-dive. And I think he was well overhyped, but he's not the best at what he does. He's really good at staying alive with his E and keeping people alive with the damage reduction, but he's not that good necessarily. I think he needs buffs, sadly enough, in some areas. I just don't think that he's the best whatsoever. If we're going into strategist, easily Invis is now S tier. Her ult is phenomenal and her shield is so broken, and the fact that she can output a lot of damage and help poke out flyers, she's easily S tier. I think she's phenomenal. I forgot Penny. Penny, I think she needs buffs. I would say she's C tier. No, D tier. I'm gonna move Cap up to C. I think Penny is D tier. Just because of we got Groot too. I missed a couple. Her ult needs a rework 1000%. I think her ult is so trash. Yeah, she can place a ton of mines and poke around and kind of stay alive, but it's not anything that's like a Strange ult or a Hulk ult or a Thor ult or a Magneto ult. Like, they're not the most effective ults in the game that will change a game. What like at all. Groot, easily high A. No, I'm gonna put Groot at S. The fact that he got a buff on his ult is phenomenal for him. I hate going against the walls. They're so stupid. So stupid. Yes, he can be easily countered with punishers and everything, but still his wall health needs to go down a little bit, I think. Really good Groots can easily carry the entire game. But really bad Groots can also throw the game really fast. He's not that hard to play. If you watch a couple guides, easily can carry. Luna, she's going into S tier. And she's still an S tier hero. I don't think that they had any changes this season on her. I think that she just overall has really good survivability with her shift. She can help with anti-dive with her freeze. And she can also output damage on flyers and anyone that's up in the air, like a Storm, Iron Man. She does really good damage for Luna, and she does decent healing. I wouldn't say she does better healing than Invis, though, because of the shield. So she's not going to go over. Cloak, with her new ult rework, where it doesn't stack, she went down. I'd still say she could be a decent healer. She used to be S tier. I'm going to put her in A just because it's one of those things at this point where you can't really carry with it. Now her healing can still be really good. The damage output can be really good, but I think that the no stacking the ult really screwed her over completely. The dashes are really nice, the quick dashes. I think they need to just revert Cloak's ult to where she can stack it, but you can keep the keep how long it takes for you to get the ult. That was the biggest issue. She had ult every fight. Jeff, D tier. I'd say he probably needs a rework, in my opinion. His ult is easily countered by so many people, but he's a really good dive. Yeah, I can agree. He's a really good dive, especially if you have a Luna. His healing output is just not there compared to other healers. And he doesn't really give buffs other than a speed buff with his bubbles. I think he just needs a rework in some way. I think he's been underwhelming, and typically in higher elo, if you see a Jeff, it's over. They should make him a DPS with heals. We'll get to that because that's Mantis. Adam Warlock, D tier. I don't think he needs a rework. I just think he needs buffs. I think his shared allied healing is easily one of the only things that puts him to where he doesn't need to rework. But it needs a buff on the timing. It's terrible. And his heals overall. Soul Bond is just freaking ridiculous, bro. His ult is really underwhelming. I don't like that everyone spawns in with like 100 health with Adam. I think that they should spawn in with higher health. That would make his ult a lot better. And he does good damage too. I will say that. He's decent whenever there's triple team comp. Triple healer comp, but other than that, it's just not that good. I think he needs buffs left and right. Adam is not perfect arts. Rocket, sadly enough, I'm going to put him in A. And a lot of people hate me for this. His ult is terrible. Worst ult in the entire game, right? Enjoy the amplifier. Really doesn't do much. His healing, you cannot tell me that it's bad. It is phenomenal. The fact that he can shoot, phenomenal. His res, phenomenal. But his ult is terrible. The only other reason I'm putting him in A instead of like B is because of the current meta with Punisher and Bucky. The team up ability is ridiculously good. It is the dumbest thing in the entire world. That needs a nerf ASAP. Yeah, that's all I gotta say. About Rocket. Everyone disses on a Rocket, but if you have a good Rocket, it's over. You have a Rocket Punisher combo, it's stupid hard to get by. The Golden God just didn't want. All right, we'll go Mantis. I think she needs a healing buff. I think she's not the worst healer in the game. Her ult is actually really cool with the speed boost, everything like that. And the fact that she can be a DPS at the same time and output just as much damage as a common DPS with heals is awesome. I think that she's literally a DPS hidden in a healer body, though, because her healing is really underwhelming. She's really good in triple heal comp, typically. Very rarely I run into a good Mantis that can double heal comp and do decent. With flyers, she's really good. People like Star-Lord, she's really good. And her sleep is really, really good against anti-dive. But it's really annoying to go against. I'm a number 2 Warlock Glazer. I see why. I see why you hate that I put Warlock at D. Loki. I want to put him at A. No, Crosshair Warlock is crazy. I want to put Loki at A, but and it's only because he can copy any alt and be really dynamic, and his clones are the most annoying thing. I'm gonna put him at A. I wouldn't say that he's S tier. He can do decent damage. He can output a lot of damage, a lot of healing if he gets his clones. But they need to nerf something about the clones. I don't know what it is. And it would balance him a lot more. I'd say he's better than Rocket. I'd say he's better than Cloak. So he's probably high A. He's A+. But there's something about this that just, oh, bro, a Loki is a game changer 95% of the games. He's either completely like trash and will sell your game, or he's phenomenal. But this is my tier list. This is my personal tier list. I think it's really good. Really freaking good. If you guys don't agree, you're wrong. Plain and simple. There we go.